And basically, guys, you're going to see a comeback story that you've never seen before. I'm back. Guys, welcome to the 16th minute. I'm Damon Feldman. I have a great guest today. It's our show, Women on the Move, our special segment. And our guest today, she's an Esquire, female attorney in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, licensed. Let's welcome Roxanne Zhilo. Roxanne, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Yeah, I've known you for, I don't know, it's funny. I've never met you, but we always talk on social media. I feel like you're my sister or something. Yeah, but I know you have a lot going on, and it's really really interesting things. It's like I love following you, and especially you being a female attorney and you're on the move and you work with all these different programs. But one that really stands out to me is the Town Watch program you do, the community outreach. Tell us about that.
So back when the riots started in Philadelphia, after George Floyd had passed away, there's been a lot of civil unrest, as everybody knows. There was a group of business owners, they happened to be Russian speaking, went out to check their businesses. And it wasn't by any means the way the media had portrayed it. This wasn't, vigilantes who went out, guns blazing, swords, and ready to fight something. Most of them were just regular business owners who went to check on their businesses. They were listening to the news. They were seeing what was happening downtown. This was out in the Great Northeast. So they couldn't necessarily know what was going on. And especially with the lockdowns and the quarantine, people just wanted to go outside and make sure that everything was okay. Right. So they went outside, they went to their businesses, they started meeting up, and magically, it was amazing because all of these different immigrant groups, first starting with the Russian speakers, a week before that, everybody had their drama with, there were the Georgian, everybody's just standing together trying to protect Asians that came out and African American down the neighborhood. So what happened was they started a Town Watch group. So the city registered them as an official Town Watch group. And as this was happening, I was kind of behind the scenes giving the guys some advice, the guys and girls. We actually have a lot of really tough females on our group, which is awesome. I was advising them because I have a background in strategic and organizational communications, concentrated in public relations and rhetorical studies, and then went to law school. So when I realized that a lot of the things optically that were happening could potentially turn into a legal nightmare down the road, not even necessarily right away, I was like, guys, you don't want much. I said, look, I'm not doing this for money. It's just, this is my contribution. So once they got registered as a Town Watch group, the guys approached me again, the guys who run the group, and said, do you want to join our nonprofit? Like, will you sit on the board and actually be an advisor? So I asked my boss if he's okay with me doing a little pro bono work. And he said, look, your evenings are your evenings. I'd love for you to do some community service. And, they stand behind me all the way. And yeah.
That's awesome. When did this start? Did you get involved with this Town Watch and everything that was going on when Corona hit? Is that when you got started? Because that's when I started noticing you were involved with all that.
So it wasn't when Corona hit. Corona started, everything shut down March 13th. This was right after George Floyd died and the riots started. That's when people went out because they were watching the news and watching, the city burning down and people breaking businesses. And people wanted to go and check on things and, make sure everything was okay. Now, obviously, since the riots, the group has evolved a lot, which is really interesting. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of different immigrant groups that didn't realize how involved they could be in the community and what they could do. So the second they were registered as a watch, and the more, let's say, for lack of better words, because all these people have been here for years, they are Americans. But now all of a sudden they're being integrated into the more Americanized community, and realizing, what kind of resources they are. And we've been kind of acting as a vehicle, almost as a bridge to these various resources for the different immigrant communities, and kind of tying them all together. That's why we rebranded as Northeast Philly Connected, so that we can show that, we are connecting neighborhoods, connecting resources, connecting neighbors, and just getting back to basics, looking out for one another, you know.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You as a woman doing this, and I'm really proud of you to really stand up, step up, and I don't see what we're doing with the women with celebrity boxing. It's all about you know basically empowering women and showing they could do anything that man could do. Because I couldn't believe you're doing this, because I don't think a lot of guys could step up and do this. Um, Getting to the point, what kind of law do you practice? What kind of law do you practice?
So I do civil litigation. So that could be anywhere from employment discrimination, civil rights cases, personal injury cases. But I also work with a very, very impressive criminal team. We
Right.
have a lot of former defenders and prosecutors. We have a couple former judges on hand. So I'm working with, the best and the brightest. I'm actually the baby of the group.
That's awesome.
So
What law firm is it too? Shout out the law firm.
it's Greenblatt Pierce, Spunt and Flores, GPFF Law. I actually have it on my banner. I just made that today.
I see it. Right. Love it. Nice.
So, they're really, really an inspiring bunch. They're extremely intelligent. I'm by far the dumbest person in the room, and it's a privilege and an honor to be surrounded by these giants.
Well, that's nice you saying about that, but you're far from dumb. And as a person that's never met you, just talked to you, I think we have a little connection. I'm really proud of you though. Like, that's why I want to have you here. You know what I mean? Like, it's really great to see what you're doing with, especially interacting with the towns and this craziness where I can't stand when they say defund the police, because I think that's a total disgrace. And I love how you're stepping up. What do you think about that when they say defund the police? How do you defund the police when you need the police?
So I think I am a believer that we do need the police 150%.
Sure.
Actually, kind of wrong. 100%, absolutely, wholeheartedly. However, I think the way the media portrays defund the police and what it means in reality is a little different. If you actually, most people don't bother to follow cases all the way through. Most people don't bother following stories all the way through. If you go based on media as opposed to actual legal documents and without the translation of an attorney, you are going to misconstrue everything and be sitting home terrified. I always tell my friends, give me a call, let me know what's going on, because I'd much rather help ease your anxiety a little bit about what you think is going on, because the media is saying one thing, the headlines are one story, what's actually happening is another.
Of
Defund the
course.
police does not necessarily mean abolish the police. So
Definitely. The media, once they're all about the negative, they don't want anything positive. But so you're putting these events together. You have this fair going on. What other events you have coming up? What's coming up next for you with the whole Town Watch, your career? Tell us a little more what's coming up for you and your career.
So right now I'm working on helping oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So right now I'm helping to build bridges for the Town Watch. One of the things you mentioned, some people think girls can't do this, some people think other people can't do that. So two examples that I always love to give is on the Town Watch, we have several girls, and there's always people who have to make a comment about something negative. So someone will say, oh, what can that little girl do? Well, little girl happens to be a grown woman, first of all. Second of all, we had a few weeks back where, everybody thinks things have quieted down, but the fact of the matter is Philadelphia is still a major city. There's still crime happening, and people are
Sure.
still, aggravated and anxious, and things are by no means calm. Approaching elections, we have a lot of concerns of, is something going to start happening? So we've been out, every single night, patrolling the streets along with the police officers, building up that relationship. One night so this woman that I mentioned, she actually spotted 3 people on the top of a business plaza. What can she do? She was able to spot them when a guy who might not have been paying as close attention as her wouldn't have spotted her, was able to call for some backup. The guys just ran away. So we don't know if they wanted to start a fire. We don't know if they wanted to rob the place. We don't know if they were just hanging out. But meanwhile, we got them away from the business plaza. so that no damage was caused to any people or property.
That's
Another
that's,
great
that's all.
example is, yeah.
Yeah,
Another great example is we have a couple individuals with disabilities, and everybody always tells me, oh, well, what could they do? Well, they're very observant, specific
fighters.
certain disabilities lend themselves to, being extra observant, being extra cautious. Some people call it anxiety and paranoia, but the fact of the matter is, for something like this, it's perfect. So one of them spotted somebody who was overdosing. Had he not called the police when he did, the person would have died.
Sure.
So,
Well,
now we're establishing partnerships with rehab facilities so that we can help the community, with local politicians. Now, my biggest task is, so once all of this happened, we set up a hotline, an 844 number. And from there, we started getting calls about anything and everything.
what's
People
the
are,
hotline? What's the number?
is
It's out there. Okay, it's back there. Okay, we see it. We see it. Yeah.
533 3362.
Got it. Now I see it back
So
there.
no, the
Everybody can see
number
it.
above is actually, that's my office number, different number.
So if people want to get in touch with you to know more about this, they can contact you at the number behind you right there. Or I know you're on social media. Tell everyone how to contact you. Tell everyone what you briefly what you could help them out with, because people
What
need help.
So any legal questions you have, I'm happy to either answer them myself or put you in touch with whoever may be the best attorney for the job. I always say, whether it's my office or someone else's, I'm happy to be your legal point of contact, because some people just don't know who to turn to. Sometimes there's a perception and probably a reality of, oh, those attorneys are too busy to talk to a normal person. I'm not too busy to talk to anybody, not because I'm not busy, but because I'm at the stage in my career where I want to be there for people. I became an attorney specifically for the reason of helping people.
Definitely. No, and I could tell that in you. You have a heart. I know, just talking to you, I was telling you about a couple of my things. You did it with your heart. Like, I know you mean well, and you're one person that's going to do some great things in life, and I'm proud of you. But do you have any events coming up other than, the fair you just had, but what's next?
We had a huge event. I don't know what's next, because the next biggest concern is going to be elections. People are concerned about
Right.
any kind of press, depending on, honestly, I don't even think it matters who wins. Somebody will be angry.
Yeah.
So, right now that's going to be our primary concern, where we're going full force to work with with the local businesses and the security that they already have, figuring out what people need, what people don't need, whether we are needed. For example, one of the things that we're looking at is, somebody asked us if we could be around while they count votes. There's a lot of election laws that have to do with that. That's something that I need special counsel on. So, there's people who are concerned about going to the polls. So all of these various things that are popping up right now, where people just are kind of uncomfortable, I'm trying to get answers to these questions. But as far as events, I don't know when the next big event's going to be just yet. Right now, we got to focus on the less fun stuff.
I got you. They can check your website out. Roxanne Zhilo, amazing woman, attorney, business woman on the move, and we love you. Love having you on. And
So much.
just stay in touch, and I'm going to keep up to date with everything you're doing. And good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
So that's Roxanne Zhilo. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next week on the 16th Minute.
Now, glutathione is a big word, but it's the body's own master antioxidant. So it's a scavenger for free radicals, for bacteria, and what's relevant now, viruses. This is new to the marketplace. There's no other product on the market that has the ingredient NACET.
And basically NACET increases the production of that glutathione that is in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system and keep it strong.
Elevated sense of well-being. Supports muscle strength and endurance.
Cognitive function. powerful liver support.
Energy. Helps blood sugar regulation. Superior bioavailability of key ingredients.
One of your best defenses against COVID is a strong immune system. Taking GSH Plus as a daily supplement does all that. And now we have the product out on the marketplace.